Hello learners, this is Habiba with Excel with me. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Let's start today's class, that is NET Education Approaches to Counselling, from the topic Learner and Learning Process. Earlier we have understood about guidance and counseling, and then we have started with approaches to counseling. We understood about cognitive behavioral therapy and also about Albert Ellis REBT. Cognitive behavioral therapy, what is the aim? Aim is to make the people aware of what their behavioral patterns are, which can distort their thinking. So we understood how the emotions and feelings together change the behavior of the person. And then we understood the connection between CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy model, that is thoughts, feelings and behavior. Then the main counseling approaches we have understood, that is first the person-centered approach, second the psychodynamic approach, third cognitive behavioral therapy, under which we have understood clearly what is cognitive behavioral therapy given by Albert Ellis, and also he pioneered the theory, the REBT, that is rational emotive behavior theory. We have understood, and what does this addresses? This addresses the attitudes, unhealthy emotions and maladaptive behaviors, addictive behaviors, aggression, unhealthy eating, sleep disturbance. All these how negatively impact the life and how we can change to the satisfaction, this life to satisfaction through this REBT. Then we have understood in detail how Albert Ellis has given some irrational assumptions already people have set earlier, which we are still continuing with those assumptions. Now let's understand about the ABC model. That is, a major aid in cognitive therapy is what Albert Ellis in the year 1957 called the ABC technique of irrational beliefs. What are the irrational beliefs? Already in our mind from the generation, few concepts or assumptions are coming continuously that we can do everything. If we won't be able to do anything, we feel distressed, discomfort. So few assumptions are such that which will lead to distress for the human being. The first three steps analyze the process by which a person has developed irrational beliefs. Let's see the three steps how people have formed those irrational beliefs. A, activating event. B, beliefs. C, consequence. Now let's understand what are all these in detail. A, that is activating event or objective situation. That is, the first column records the objective situation, that is an event that ultimately leads to some type of high emotional response or negative dysfunctional thinking. In first column what he has given, activating event or objective situation. That means one event which will lead to high emotional response or maybe dysfunctioning of some negative thinking. Second, beliefs. In the second column, the client writes down the negative thoughts that occurred to them. That means in the first column A, what they will write? Whatever the objective situation is there. And then secondly, what are the negative thoughts they are having, they are occurring in their life. Then C, what are the consequences, what was happening to them. The third column is for the negative feelings and dysfunctional behaviors that ensued. The negative thoughts of the second column are seen as a connecting bridge between the situation and the distressing feelings. The third column C is next explained by describing emotions or negative thoughts that the client thinks are caused by A. This could be anger, sorrow, anxiety, etc. So these three are interlinked. that what the consequences, what that person will think, why this anxiety, anger and sorrow are caused because of the A. That is, what are the beliefs and thoughts are there. Then Ellis believes that it is not the activating event A that causes negative emotional and behavioral consequences C, but rather that a person interprets these events unrealistically and therefore has an irrational belief system, that system B, that helps cause the consequences. Ultimately, what Ellis want to make us understand, generally people think that A is the whatever the event is the consequence of whatever sorrow and beliefs. But no, Ellis says that B is, but rather that a person interprets whatever the person interprets unrealistically. That is, some assumptions are there, unrealistic, irrational belief system that happens to become the beliefs are the main consequences or the reasons for the sorrow and whatever distress that person is having. So this ABC model has been explained by Ellis. Now, what is the example of REBT? Let's understand. That is rational emotive behavioral theory. Geeta is upset because she got a low mark on a math test. The activating event A is that she failed her test. The belief B is that she must have good grades or she is worthless, positive and negative. Then what is the consequence C is that Geeta, sorry it is misspelled here, Geeta feels depressed. That means A, activating event, she failed in the test. B, she should get good grades or she will be worthless. And what is the consequence C used here? She feels depressed. Then after irrational beliefs have been identified, the therapist will often work with the client in challenging the negative thoughts on the basis of evidence from the client's experience by reframing it, meaning to reinterpret it in a more realistic light. This helps the client to develop more rational beliefs and healthy coping strategies. Obviously, why we go to the therapist? Because whatever thinking, our thinking gets stagnant at some point. We need some help to rethink about whatever consequences are there, whatever irrational beliefs have been formed, to make them rational and healthy. Some therapist should be there. What that therapist will do? They will work upon whatever the challenging and negative thoughts are there of whatever the client is experiencing. They will reframe those beliefs into rational. Whatever beliefs were there, they were irrational, because of which depression, distress is there of the client. So this therapist, what does the therapist do? He will convert those irrational beliefs to rational or healthy coping strategies. Then a therapist would help Geeta realize that there is no evidence that she must have good grades to be worthwhile, or that getting bad grades is awful. So what does the therapist will do? It is not that getting good grades is of high achievement and not getting grades is low and awful. It's not like that. The therapist will try to change the whatever beliefs, irrational beliefs are there. She desires good grades and it would be good to have them, but it hardly makes her worthless. Not getting grades will never make any person worthless. So that thinking should be brought by the therapist. If she realizes that getting bad grades is disappointing but not awful, and that it means she is currently bad at math or at studying but not a person, she will feel sad or frustrated but not depressed. Getting frustrated and feeling sad is okay, but going to the depression is not at all good. So the sadness and frustration are likely healthy negative emotions and may lead her to study harder from then on. So what does this therapist will do? They will make that they will make Geeta understand getting good grades is okay, and also not getting good grades is also okay. But that person need to understand between the difference, that is negativity, negative emotions, and the positivity. So what happens here? She will feel sad if she is not getting good grades, but she will not go in distress, which can make the person go into bad life or living in all stressful life. So this is the main purpose of this therapy. So let's conclude this topic. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a common type of talk therapy, psychotherapy. Work with a mental health counselor, that is psychotherapist or therapist, in a structured way, attending a limited number of sessions. So CBT helps to become aware of inaccurate or negative thinking, can view challenging situations more clearly and respond to them in a more effective way. So cognitive behavioral therapy is a form of psychological treatment that has been demonstrated to be effective for a range of problems, including depression, anxiety disorder, alcohol and drug use problems, marital problems, eating disorders, and severe mental illness. So all these problems can be resolved through this cognitive behavioral therapy. Numerous research studies suggest that CBT leads to significant improvement in functioning and quality of life. In many studies, CBT has been demonstrated to be as effective as or more effective than other forms of psychological therapy or psychiatric medications. So we come to the end of this session. If you like the class, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Thanks for your attention and time. Happy learning.